Dogman, directed by Peter Hastings, follows a half man, half dog police officer who has to save the city from the evil cat Petey. I personally didn't grow up reading Dogman. He was always a character I would see at the Scholastic book fairs along with Captain Underpants. I was more of a Diary of a Wimpy Kid type of kid. I never really got into these types of books, but my theater was super full of a bunch of kids on its first opening day, so clearly this character has really stayed relevant for my generation and the following ones. But the real question is, what did I think of the first Dogman movie? And I thought it was perfectly fine. It's a simple, run of the mill kids movie that I would never watch again, but did nothing too bad or very great. Our main character of Dogman is entertaining and mixes in both action humor with the tendencies of a dog mixed in, like chasing balls, cars, and bones. Now, while Dogman is the title character, all of the character development is really saved for our villain, Petey the Cat, who's played by Pete Davidson. I thought Pete did a really good job with his performance. I've liked his voiceover work in previous films he's done. I thought he was great in the last Transformers movie. But really, most of the character development doesn't really happen between Petey and Dogman. It mostly comes from Petey's son named Little Petey. Petey tries to create two versions of himself with a cloning machine to be able to defeat Dogman, but he ends up creating this adorable little kitten that he has to learn how to become a father for. As an animated kids movie, Dogman is a very hectic movie. It throws a lot at you and never really slows down. It also puts rapid fire jokes in front of a really continuous story. And while there definitely is a linear storyline with these characters, it's not always clear and it just kind of throws in plot elements when needed, when switching back and forth between the fantastical elements and funny moments and then focusing back on the plot. Didn't really feel like it had a consistent through line that I would want to see in a kids film. And I may be missing the mark here, but this really does feel like a kids movie made for the younger generation that is hooked on devices and constant movement. Colors and jokes are constantly being thrown at you, and it's really overwhelming to your senses. I don't know if that's exactly how the book is like, or if this is really just a younger generation version that the filmmakers are really trying to capture the attention of this young audience. Or maybe I'm just old and getting out of touch, and maybe kids' movies have always been like this, but it was something I noticed. Also, sometimes characters' delivery was just super fast. Some of the supporting characters would just say things super quickly that I would not even be able to understand what they just said. As for the animation style, it looked to be a 3D animated film with the aesthetic of being a 2D drawn movie, so you can kind of see the black lines on a character as if they're from the comic book. It seems to me that most of the characters are drawn very comic accurate to the original, but I'd say the animation was just fine. Didn't do anything bad, didn't do anything fantastic, it just did its job. It's very clear that the world of Dogman and the subject matter is built on ironic movie tropes mixed in with childhood silliness and wonder. So, for example, the villain's lair saying clearly the villain's name, or the newscaster in the movie is self aware, so she's reporting in the rain for no reason. It's these kinds of tropes where I see Dogman almost have something there for adults, but it's so surface level and loses the novelty very quickly. Personally, I think it's very important that kids' movies accomplish two very important things. I think the first thing is that it needs to have enough elements that adults can also enjoy this movie and appreciate it. And this does not necessarily mean have raunchy jokes or have dirty humor that goes over the kids' heads, but just have enough in the character department and just have enough in the joke so that there is enough for adults to bite into and it isn't just a fun kids' movie. And of course, the second one is a good message for kids. I think Dogman missed on the first requirement, and that's typically a lot harder to nail to be able to appeal to both children and adults. Only the best animation studios are able to do that, and Dogman does miss in putting in elements for adults. But I really do think where Dogman works is in that second requirement. It has a great family message of family trauma, not repeating the same mistakes as your parents, and accepting that you can be good despite having a history of wrongdoing. Those are all great lessons that I would want to instill to my children, and I'm sure many of the kids enjoyed it. By no means is Dogman diving into these themes that I've just mentioned into some deep or new way, but it spins in enough of these moments to make the constant bright colors and nonstop action a little bit more bearable and a little bit more focused on giving kids a good story. Overall, Dogman is a forgettable animated movie that did its job being a fun time for kids. It's not one I will ever watch again or one I plan to show my kids in the future, but I've definitely seen worse this month. I give Dogman a 2 out of 4 stars. Thank you guys so much for watching. I know I was a little bit late on this Dogman review, but please let me know down in the comments section below what you guys thought of Dogman. Will you be taking your kids to go see this? Are you a grown adult? And are you going to go see Dogman? Probably not. I think I was the only person in there without children to go watch this movie. So yeah, guys, let me know down in the comment section below what you guys thought of Dogman. And thank you guys so much for watching.